Our tale begins with Akira chilling out in his small dumpster fire of an apartment watching a zombie flick. With dark circles and bags under his eyes, the young advertising executive has lost all his passion and drive. And as he falls asleep from immense fatigue, we get a flashback to 3 years earlier. We see Akira, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed as he begins his first day of work after leaving college. The young man has secured employment within the production department of a large advertisement firm. And after enthusiastically greeting everyone, he walks towards his desk and is love-struck when he bumps into the very beautiful Saori Otori, who generously welcomes him to the firm and encourages him to seek her assistance if he needs help. Later that evening, at a welcome dinner, he gets to better know his colleagues. And when complimented on his great physique, he informs them that he used to play rugby in college. As the party draws to an end, Akira is shocked to find out that rather than going home, everyone prepares to go back to the office for an all-nighter. He spends the next 3 grueling days at the office, thus beginning 3 years to the present day of mental and physical exhaustion filled with toxic bosses, sacrificed weekends, all-nighters, and soul-crushing deadlines. Adding insult to injury, he even discovers that his crush is actually the mistress of the CEO. Fast forward to the present, and Akira wakes up to begin another horrible day. He remembers that he has to pay a bike parking fee and visits the lounge to make the payment. To his shock, he's greeted by the horrific scene of the manager consuming his wife. And as the man turns to face him, Akira realizes that the manager has transformed into a zombie. The young man makes a run for it, but his escape is blocked by another group of monsters. And as he looks out onto the street, realizes that there are zombies everywhere. He runs to the roof, managing to close the gate behind him and thus saving himself for the moment. And as he lays on the ground trying to catch his breath, Akira realizes that he never has to return to work again, and as such, he's now a free man. He decides to take this opportunity to confess his feelings to his workplace crush, and so heads to her home. Upon arriving at Saori's residence, he finds the door unlocked and tentatively walks in to find his disgustingly zombified boss. As Akira delivers a heartfelt resignation speech, he assumes a rugby pose before tackling his boss out of a window and sending him to his second death. Free of that nonsense, he searches for Saori, but unfortunately discovers that she too is now a zombie. In a bittersweet moment, he confesses his love for her before running away. Later on that evening, Akira wanders into a convenience store under the neon night sky. He buys a Sharpie and a notebook and commits to writing his first ever bucket list of 100 things he wants to do before he dies. We find Akira being yelled at by his douchebag manager, who slowly begins to transform into a bloody and grotesque mess. The young man slowly opens his eyes to find that he was only having a nightmare. He is most assuredly free from his toxic workplace, and as a start to his newfound freedom, Akira kicks things off by cleaning out his apartment that has 3 years' worth of rubbish piled up. With the apartment now clean enough for human habitation, he decides to indulge in one of the greatest activities known to mankind: having a cold beer on a weekday morning. As he enjoys the beverage, the TV shows a reporter and her station crew being eventually swarmed by zombies before their signal is lost. He opens his fridge, only to discover that he's out of beers. Akira decides to do a beer run through the zombie apocalypse. The stairwell is completely filled with hordes of zombies, and so the young man decides to slide down the external drain pipes to get to the ground floor. On his way down, he encounters his neighbors, the Kosaka couple, who've barricaded themselves from the creatures at their door. Filled with good cheer, Akira introduces himself, informing the couple that he's making his way to the store, and as he slides down, he promises to bring them back supplies such as toiletries and food. The couple watch on as Akira fearlessly hops on a bicycle and heads off. Upon reaching the store, Akira sings cheerfully as he makes his way towards the fridges. He's shocked to find a beautiful and athletic young woman named Shizuka Mikazuki. The young man is enamored. Here he is in the middle of a zombie apocalypse, and he finds a beautiful woman at world's end. He tries to strike up a conversation and even asks her for her digits, but despite his efforts, he's basically ignored until Shizuka harshly tells Akira that he's too reckless, and as such, she has no desire to associate herself with someone who is so carefree that he's buying beers during the day in the middle of a zombie outbreak. Zombies barge into the store, and as the young woman stares at her phone, Akira leaps in front of her to protect her. Shizuka suddenly grabs Akira, throwing him down to the floor behind her as a truck crashes charges into the store, destroying the zombies that were about to attack them. Akira looks on in awe as Shizuka rides away with her shopping. Unfortunately, his own bicycle has been destroyed, and as he searches for another one, realizes that the zombie attack occurred during rush hour. As such, many vehicles were abandoned with their keys still in them. He eventually finds himself a sleek and powerful motorcycle that he rides with joy back to his home. Upon returning, he climbs up the drain pipe, and as he cheerfully invites the Kosaka couple for drinks, is saddened by the chaotic sight of their front door smashed in. With broken glass and bloody marks all over their apartment, he realizes that the couple have lost their lives. Back in his own apartment, Akira reflects on how easily lives are lost, and so determined to live a full life with no regrets, he pulls out his notebook and adds 33 more things to his bucket list. We begin within a famous host club called Shoe Time, where we see a young man named Shu offering words of comfort to a little girl. The men walk by an assortment of weapons, including bats and Molotov cocktails. Each host picks up a preferred tool as they walk outside of the club to face a horde of zombies, determined to protect the club and all those who have taken refuge inside. Elsewhere, we find Akira scrolling through his phone. He looks through all the neglected messages that built up over the last 3 years until he discovers a message from his best friend who he hasn't spoken to or seen in over a year. Determined to reconnect, the young man sends him a message, convinced that his best friend is far too durable to have succumbed to zombies. And when the young man grows tired of waiting for a response, he calls up his best friend. Elsewhere, we find Akira's best friend Kencho trapped in the Shoe Time Club. The young man peers through a door into a corridor teeming with zombies that leads to the fire exit. After a drunken party 3 nights ago, he ended up here, now stuck with only water as nourishment. And as he looks up at a tied-up zombie in his room, we learn that his situation is far worse. When Kencho picks up, Akira is so happy that his friend is alive that he quickly asks for the address to be sent to him, hangs up the call, and races off to meet him. We find Sho as he faces the horde of zombies that now include all his fellow co-workers. And as the young man braces himself to get nibbled, a car horn sounds off continuously in the distance. Turns out that upon arriving there, Akira rigged a rugby ball to the horn to distract zombies, and as the mindless creatures move towards the car, the young man takes the opportunity to run into the club. Kencho ventures into the now empty corridor and is stricken with fear as he contemplates what awaits outside. He almost has a heart attack when Akira touches him on the shoulder. Relieved to find Kencho, Akira quickly begins to apologize for being a bad friend. He admits that he was jealous of Kencho's high-flying and exciting life, especially compared to his own miserable existence in a job he hated. Attracted to their loud conversation, zombies appear. The two friends rush towards the roof of the building, stacking heavy objects against the door to hold back the fiends. Akira leaps off the building and lands on the roof of the opposite one. He urges his friend to follow, but Kencho lacks the confidence to do so. He confesses that his life wasn't all sunshine and roses, and that rather than being a company man, he always wished to be a comedian. With Akira's encouragement, Kencho resolves to make his dream come true. He strips off his clothing and spectacularly leaps off the building, striking a pose with his ass cheeks and donglers swaying in the wind. Unfortunately, he doesn't fully make it, and just as he's about to fall, Akira grabs his hand, pulling him up to safety. And as the episode comes to an end, the two friends share a beer under the night sky in their birthday suits. We continue with Akira focused on a zombie-themed FPS game, while his friend prepares a large, special fried rice feast. Upon setting the mound of food on the table, the ladies' man teases him about not having a girlfriend. Akira desperately proclaims that he's determined to get one, and so Kencho leans over the balcony, suggesting that there may be a wife in the making below. They stare at a female zombie who falls to the ground, face down, ass up, and continuously farting into the wind. And as they observe this truly majestic sight, Kencho suggests that she could be Akira's future wife. As Kencho looks through the bucket list, Akira suddenly remembers that one thing he always wanted was a large flat-screen TV, and so the pair set their sights on a new objective. As they move through the zombie-infested city, their progress is halted by a firefighter zombie blocking the road as it sprays fire in all directions. As the friends friends think of a way around this obstacle, they notice a runaway truck driven by a mindless zombie and speeding towards them. With little time to spare, they ride into an underground tunnel, narrowly avoiding the resulting explosion. As luck would have it, this is an underground shopping center, and with the zombies surrounding them, they quickly dart underneath a nearby shutter, closing it behind them and narrowly avoiding getting caught. Celebrating another escape, as well as the good fortune to find themselves in a shop that sells TVs, they turn around to find survivors. The survivors include a man and 3 women named Reika, Maki, and Yukari, all of whom were flight attendants. With 3 men and women, and despite the horror of the world outside, Akira is thankful for this seemingly perfect scenario as he may yet accomplish his goal of finding a girlfriend. And while Kensho applies his effortless charm to quickly find himself a partner, Akira's clumsiness around women still proves to be debilitating. In an effort to gain more courage, he drinks far too much alcohol, and as a result, finds himself staring down a toilet bowl as he throws up. But all is not lost, as one of the attendants named Yukari offers him comfort. Kensho and Maki get acquainted. We also see Reika with the other male survivor, and as she drunkenly converses with him, the zombified man attacks her. As a spark of possible romance is lit between Akira and Yukari, a zombie appears and attacks the woman, and as Akira tries to save her, she urges him to escape, encouraging him to pursue his dreams. The young man reluctantly accepts that there's no way to save her, and as he retreats, we watch the dignified woman succumb to her attackers. The young man rushes through the shop and eventually reunites with Kensho, who has managed to snag an 8K widescreen TV. And with that, the two load up the TV and escape the shopping center. Later on, as Akira remembers Yukari's courage and her last words to him, the young man is more determined than ever to accomplish everything in his bucket list.